The sky above Zaltria Prime was dark and heavy with blue fog. The ruined planet had once been home to a powerful alien race. Now it was nothing but ash, broken towers, and silence. Captain Raylan Cross, a human from Earth's recon corps, walked slowly through the crumbling remains of the alien city. His boots crunched on black crystal dust. His scanner beeped softly in his hand. "Signal is close," he whispered. He was alone. Command sent him here to locate a strange energy signal that no probe could identify. Every drone sent here had disappeared. But Raylan was no ordinary soldier. He had survived missions where others vanished. A broken doorway stood ahead. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the cracked wall. Raylan stepped through, his pulse steady, but his eyes alert. The inside was cold, but not dead. It was ... humming ... He moved down a narrow hallway, deeper into the underground ruin. Light flickered from glowing blue stones on the walls. The scanner beeped faster. Whatever was causing the signal was just ahead. Then he heard it. A soft voice. Human ... Raylan froze. The voice was calm, female, and it was coming from inside the chamber ahead. He raised his blaster slowly and stepped inside. There she was, a tall figure standing in the center of the room. She wore silver blue armor that looked ancient but alive. It pulsed with strange light. Her eyes were glowing. Her skin was smooth and almost metallic, like silver under moonlight. She didn't move. She just looked at him. "Who are you?" Raylan asked. "I am Sarixa. I waited for someone like you," she said. Raylan kept his blaster raised. "Are you the one sending the signal?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, the armor called to you." "It shows you." Raylan frowned. "The armor?" She lifted her arms. Slightly. Her armor shifted, pulsing with soft energy. It covered her like a second skin, and it seemed to breathe. "I cannot remove it," she said. "Not unless a human helps. Not unless—" "You touch it?" Raylan narrowed his eyes. "Why me?" "Because only a human can activate the final code," she said, stepping closer. Raylan stepped back. "I'm not here for your tricks." "It's no trick," Sarixa whispered. "Touch it, and you will understand. Please, I am trapped." Her voice was soft. Her face showed pain, or maybe that was just what the armor wanted him to see. Raylan didn't trust easily. Not after what he'd seen in the last war. Still, something about her felt different. His scanner started blinking red. Sudden surge. Energy off the charts. The armor was reacting to him. "One touch," she said. "Then you'll know." Raylan hesitated. His instincts said no. But his mission was to find out what the signal was. This was the source dot, and his gut told him this wasn't just about tech dot. He reached forward. His fingers touched the armor, just above her shoulder. The reaction was instant. A bright white flash. Raylan gasped, his mind filled with fire. Images of stars, machines, voices from a time long gone. He saw battles. He saw creatures made of light. He saw Sarixa standing in fire, screaming. Then he was back. He stumbled back, shaking. His hands still tingled. What was that?" he asked, breathing hard. Sarixa looked at him with sad eyes. "The beginning," she said. Raylan turned to run, but his legs stopped. The armor had marked him. A faint line of blue light was now across his palm. "What did you do to me?" He growled. "I told you," she said, walking closer. "The armor needed your touch. Now it is linked. We are bonded. You tricked me." She didn't deny it. "Yes, but I had no choice." Raylan raised his blaster again, but his hand shook. "You don't understand what's coming," she said. "Now that the bond is made, they will come for us both." "Who?" he asked. Sarex's face turned pale. the Covenant enforcers. And they do not leave survivors. The chamber began to shake. Raylan looked up. Something outside had landed. Heavy. Fast. A shadow moved across the broken doorway. Serexa whispered, "It's too late?" Raylan looked at her, and for the first time, he wasn't sure if she was the enemy, or the only one who could help him survive. Asterisk. The ground shook again. Dust rained from the ceiling of the chamber. Captain Raylan gritted his teeth, eyes locked on the entrance. Heavy boots slammed the ground outside. Serexa turned sharply. "They're here." Raylan didn't wait. "Who are they exactly?" "Hunters," Serexa said. "Sent by the old Empire. They track down anyone bonded with this armor. You weren't supposed to survive the touch." Raylan frowned. "Why me?" But before she could answer, the wall exploded inward. Two tall figures entered, cloaked in black armor that made no sound. Their eyes glowed red. No words. No warning. They raised strange weapons, like a cross between a blade and a cannon. Raylan rolled to cover, firing two quick plasma shots. One hit the wall. The other hit armor, but it didn't even slow them down. Serexa reached out. "Stay down. Let me handle this." Raylan watched as her armor lit up. Glowing lines ran down her arms. Her eyes turned fully silver. She lifted her palm, and a burst of blue fire slammed one of the hunters into the ceiling. The other turned toward her. Too late. Serexa moved fast, inhumanly fast. She spun, kicking the second hunter into a pile of rubble. His weapon cracked. In half-dot silence, then Serexa collapsed to her knees. The light from her armor faded. Raylan rushed forward, grabbing her shoulders. "You okay?" She nodded weakly. "I used too much power too fast. The armor is not meant to fight alone anymore. It's broken inside, just like me." Raylan looked at the two dead hunters. "They came to kill you." She nodded. "They came to kill us." Raylan took a deep breath. "Okay, I need answers. No more tricks." Serexa sat back against the wall. "This armor ... is alive. It was created by my people long ago, built to protect. But when the war ended, they feared its power. They started hunting anyone bonded with it." Raylan asked, "So why me?" Serexa looked at him, tired. "Only a human can complete the bond. Your kind's minds are strange. Wild, full of emotion. The armor needs that to survive." Raylan laughed bitterly. "So I was a key? A battery?" "No," Serexa said. "You were a risk. One touch could have killed you. I didn't think it would accept you. But it did." "Yes," she said quietly. "And now, we're both part of it." Raylan stood, pacing. His palms still glowed faint blue. No pain, but something felt different. As if the armor left a piece of itself inside him. Then he heard a sound whispering not in the room. Inside his head, voices, memories, not his. He spun. "Did you hear that?" Serexa looked at him calmly. "The armor is speaking to you now." Raylan stared. "What does it want?" she whispered. "It wants to be whole again." Then suddenly, the chamber pulsed with blue light. Symbols lit up on the wall's ancient writing, glowing softly. Raylan walked to them. The words felt familiar, even though he'd never seen them before. Serexa translated, "Two minds, one soul, united by fire, chosen by war." Raylan touched the symbol. His vision exploded again. This time, he saw it clearly. A great city in it. Stars burning armies of machines and a single warrior. In armor standing on a tower Serexa him. He gasped and fell back. His heart raced. Serexa caught him. "It's showing you the future." "No," Raylan said. "It's showing me what it wants." Then the room went dark. The only light came from their palms, hers and his both glowing, slowly sinking. Serexo leaned closer. There is no turning back now, Raylan. The armor chose you. He looked at her, confused, angry, and afraid. But part of him already knew. This was more than a mission. It was a destiny he never asked for, but could no longer. Escape. Asterisk. Captain Raylan sat in silence. The cave chamber was still, but his mind was not. The glow in his palm had faded, but something was still inside him. Sarexa stood quietly, her back turned. She stared at the symbols still faintly glowing on the wall. Raylan finally spoke. What did I see back there? That city, that fire, that me? Sarexa answered softly. You saw the armor's memory, and a piece of your future. Raylan stood. Don't talk in riddles. Tell me the truth. Now. Sarexa turned. Her eyes no longer glowed. She looked tired. Not like a warrior, but like someone carrying pain for far too long. The armor, she said, is not just a weapon. It's part of a living network left behind by the ancients. It bonds with only 1 in 1,000, and when it does, it doesn't just connect flesh. She placed her hand to her chest. It connects souls. Raylan stepped back. Are you saying I'm soul bonded to you? Sarexa nodded. Yes, and it's permanent. Raylan stared at her. His voice dropped low. You tricked me. I had no choice, she replied. The bond was failing inside me. I needed someone strong enough to hold it. Raylan clenched his fists. What happens now? Do I turn into some kind of puppet? No, Sarexa said. You become more than what you were. You'll start to feel what I feel, hear what I hear, dream what I dream. Raylan looked down at his hands. That's not a gift. That's a prison. Sarexa didn't argue. I know. I've lived it for years. Then the whispers returned. But this time, they were not memories. They were words. Clear, deep, alien yet familiar, complete. The bond. Raylan looked at Sarexa. She nodded. It's calling you into the ritual, she said. If we don't finish it, the bond will rot, and it will destroy us both. Raylan's voice was cold. You really didn't care what happened to me. Did you? Sarexa looked away. I cared. That's why I'm warning you now. You can still walk away. But if I do, we both die. She nodded. Yes, Raylan sighed. Then finish it. Sarexa stepped forward. She touched her armor and it changed. The smooth silver began to shift and open. Not like clothing, but like skin peeling back. Inside was a glowing heart of energy, floating in a cradle of light. Raylan stared. The core of the armor. And now, you must touch it. Raylan looked at the glowing heart. His body felt heavy. His breath slowed. The whispers grew louder. He reached out. The moment his hand touched the energy core, his vision went white. He stood in a different place. A white room. No walls, no floor. Only light. Sarexa stood across from him, her armor gone. She looked human now. Almost. Their thoughts were open. He could feel her fear, her guilt, her hope. And she could feel his anger, confusion, pain. They were no longer strangers. Their minds joined. One heart, two voices. Then the armor appeared between them. It spoke, not in words, but in feeling, purpose, unity, war. Suddenly, everything faded. Raylan woke on the floor, gasping. Sarexa sat beside him. Ha! Armor had reformed, but now it had new patterns, lines that matched the blue glow on Raylan's palm. She looked at him. It's done. Raylan stood slowly. He felt ... heavier, stronger. A new weight in his chest, like energy burning under his skin. And something else. He could feel her thoughts. Not words, just emotions. A gentle hum in the back of his mind. Her. Sarexa. took his hand. We're linked now, for better or worse. Raylan pulled back. This is insane? No, she said. This is just the beginning. Then a sound echoed through the cave. A new signal. Raylan turned on his wrist scanner. The reading made his stomach twist. They're tracking us again. Syrex's expression hardened. Then we run, and this time, we fight back together. Raylan looked down at his glowing hand. He didn't know what he had become, but he knew this. The galaxy just changed, and it all started with a touch. Asterisk, the cave trembled. Captain Raylan's wrist scanner flashed red. They're almost here, he said, tightening his grip on his blaster. Syrexa stood beside him, her armor pulsing softly. She didn't look afraid, but she wasn't calm either. They move fast, she said. Faster than you expect. We don't have much time. Raylan checked the scanner again. 3 signatures. All armed. They're not sending scouts. No, Syrexa replied. They're sending executioners. Raylan looked at her. You're sure they can't track us through the armor? They can, she said. Now that the bond is complete, your energy signature is just as loud as mine. Great, Raylan muttered. So we're both glowing targets. A low rumble echoed through the stone floor. Then silence. Syrex's armor shifted. Panels moved. Slightly, like it was breathing. Her eyes glowed again. Raylan stepped toward the cave entrance and peeked outside. A ship hovered above the ruins. A black, triangle-shaped craft. No windows. No sound. Just ... waiting. 3 figures dropped from it. They didn't fall, they floated, silent and graceful. Black cloaks. Thin, long limbs. Metallic faces like emotionless masks. Raylan felt a chill run down his spine. They don't look alive, he whispered. They're not, Syrexa said. They are armor-bound ... but with no soul left. The Covenant removes that part. Nice people, Raylan said. The 3 hunters landed softly on the stone. The middle one raised a hand, and the rock between them cracked like glass. Raylan ducked behind cover. Do we run? Syrex's voice was steady. No. Now we show them. What happens when armor bonds with a human? The lead hunter stepped forward and pointed toward the cave. Then it vanished. Raylan blinked. Where'd it go? Move! Syrexa shouted. Raylan dove sideways just as a black blur smashed through the cave wall. The hunter reappeared midair, swinging a glowing blade. Toward him, Raylan raised his arm instinctively, and the armor answered. His arm lit up. A shield of blue energy flared to life. The blade struck it and bounced, off in a shower of sparks. Raylan's heart pounded. What the hell was that? You're learning, Syrexa called out. She jumped forward, striking the second hunter. With a bolt of light from her palm, it screamed a sharp, mechanical sound and flew backward into a column. Raylan's armor shifted around his chest, forming new patterns. His hands began to glow without his control. He didn't understand but it felt right. The 3rd hunter leapt at him. But this time, Raylan didn't dodge. He raised both hands and let the energy inside him flow. 2 bright bolts of blue shot from his palms, hitting the hunter square in the chest. It stopped mid-air, shaking, then exploded into dust. Raylan stood frozen. I just did that? Syrexa landed beside him. Yes, but more will come. That was a scout team. Raylan looked at the sky. Then we need to leave. I know where to go, she said. There's an old warp gate hidden deep in the mountains. We can reach it by nightfall. Raylan nodded. Lead the way. They moved fast, leaving the broken cave behind. As they ran through the glowing trees of Zaltria Prime, Raylan felt the bond between them grow. He didn't just hear Syrex's words. He could feel her thoughts, her fear, her hope, her pain. She had lost people. She had been hunted for years. She had never trusted anyone. Until now. Raylan asked, "Why me?" "Really?" Serixa didn't stop running, but her answer came softly in his mind. "Because you didn't walk away." Raylan looked up. The mountain was ahead, and behind them. The sky darkened again. More hunters. Bigger. Ones. But this time, Raylan wasn't afraid. He didn't fully understand the armor. He didn't fully trust Serixa. But he knew this much. He would fight. And he would survive. Even if the entire galaxy wanted him dead. Asterisk. By the time they reached the mountain pass, the sun on Zaltria Prime had started to fade behind black clouds. But Raylan barely noticed. His hands still burned faintly from the last attack, but not from pain, not from memory. The armor was whispering. Again, not words, images. He saw a planet made of glass. A battle in the sky. A single figure standing in a circle of fire surrounded by machines. That figure wore the same armor now wrapped around his chest. He stumbled. Serixa turned. "You're seeing it, aren't you?" Raylan nodded. "Yeah, too much. Too fast." "It's remembering," she said quietly. Raylan looked at her. "The armor has its own memories?" She stopped walking. "Yes, each piece stores pieces of its last bearer. Sometimes those memories stay buried. But when the right bond forms, they come alive again." Raylan sat on a rock. His pulse was fast. "I saw cities burning," he said. "I saw myself know. Someone like me destroying them." Serixa sat beside him. "That wasn't destruction. It was protection. The armor doesn't choose killers. It chooses defenders." Raylan laughed bitterly. "Well, maybe it made a mistake." Serixa didn't smile. "It didn't." There was a long silence. The wind picked up across the cliffs. Raylan finally spoke again. "Tell me the truth now. Everything. No lies. Why did the armor really bond to me?" Serixa looked up at the sky. "Because you're human." "That's not enough." She nodded slowly. "No, but humanity feels differently than other species. Most of us lost our emotions in war. We became cold, logical. But your kind still burns." Raylan raised an eyebrow. "You mean we're hot-headed?" "No," she said. "I mean you still care. Even when it hurts. Even when it's stupid." She placed her hand over her chest. "The armor responds to that." Raylan thought about that. He remembered the moment. He touched it, the raw pulse of emotion, memory, power. It hadn't felt like tech. It had felt like something alive. Suddenly, a pulse of light spread across his armor. The same happened to Serex's. Symbols lit up on both of their suits. Raylan stood quickly. "What's happening now?" Serexa looked shocked. "It's sinking again." The symbols floated up, spinning in the air between them. Then they merged, forming a single image. A map. A star system neither of them recognized. But it pulsed. Brightly, Raylan pointed at it. "That looks like a destination." "It is," Serixa said. "And I've seen it before." She touched her wrist panel. A hidden compartment in her armor opened. Inside was a tiny metal shard. She handed it to Raylan. He looked closely. The same symbol was etched into the shard. "I stole this years ago," she said. "It's a key to something older than this war. Older than my people." Raylan's hand began to glow brighter. The map shifted again. This time, a temple appeared in the star system. Floating ruins. Power lines connecting moons. Raylan stepped back. "What is this place?" Serex's voice dropped low. "It's where the armor was made." Raylan's mind was racing. If the armor had a birthplace, maybe it had a purpose too. Maybe everything happening him, Serexa. The bond was leading them there. Then suddenly his head snapped back. Another vision slammed into him. This time, the galaxy was screaming. ships on fire, worlds shattering. And in the center, an alien. God wearing armor like his, but twisted, corrupted. Behind it stood thousands of soldiers, mindless, bound by broken armor. And facing them Raylan, alone. He gasped and fell forward. Cerixa caught him. What did you see? She asked, worried. Raylan looked up at her. There's another armor-bearer out there, he said. But it's not like us. It's wrong. It's using the armor to control. Cerex's face darkened. The fallen. The always feared one survived. Raylan stood slowly. He understood now. This wasn't just about him or Cerexa. This was about something ancient rising again, and the only thing that could stop it was the bond they now shared. Raylan looked toward the sky. We have to reach that temple. Cerexa nodded, and soon, before the fallen reaches it first. Behind them, the wind howled. The past was no longer just memory. It was becoming real again. The ancient temple floated above the gas, giant like a broken crown in the sky. Sharp towers pierced the clouds, held by invisible energy. Cracks glowed with blue light. Gravity was weaker here. The air was filled with whispers, not sound, but thoughts, memories. Old ones. Raylan stood at the edge of the platform, looking down at the spinning world below. His armor pulsed. Cerexa stood beside him, silent. This was it, where it all began. And where everything would end. They're here, Cerexa said. Raylan turned. From the mist came a ship dark as shadow, larger than anything they had seen. No markings. No lights. Just dread. A shape dropped from the ship fast, heavy. When it landed, the stone cracked. The fallen. It wore armor, just like theirs, but blackened, twisted, alive in a different way. The faceplate was smooth, no eyes, no mouth. But Raylan could feel its hunger. Cerexa stepped forward. You were supposed to be dead. The fallen said nothing, but its presence spoke. It reached out and the air trembled. Raylan's heart beat faster. It wants the bond. Cerexa nodded. It wants to absorb us, to become complete. The fallen raised its hand. A pulse of dark energy shot toward them. Raylan raised his arms, but before he could react, Cerexa stepped in front of him. The blast hit her full force. She screamed. Her armor shattered in pieces, glowing fragments flying through the air. Raylan caught her as she fell. No. No, stay with me. She looked up at him, eyes fading. You were always the key. Raylan shook his head. I can't do this alone. You won't, she whispered. I'm part of you now. Her fingers touched his chest. And the armor responded. It flared bright and wild. Raylan screamed, not in pain, but in power. His mind opened wide. Every memory of Cerex, every word, every thought, every moment flooded into him. And something clicked. The bond didn't die. It evolved. Stood slowly, placing her gently on the stone. Then he turned to face the sea, fallen. His armor was no longer blue. It was white fire glowing like a newborn star. The fallen lunged. Raylan didn't move. He let the armor think. It did the rest. A burst of pure light shot forward. The fallen stopped mid-charge. Raylan's voice echoed not alone, but with Cerex's tone woven inside. You forgot something, he said. Armor needs a soul. He charged. The two collided in the ska shockwaves rocking the floating temple. Raylan struck with light and memory. Every thought, every emotion Cerexa had given him, he used it like a blade. The fallen screamed, its armor cracking. Raylan reached into the fracture and touched its chest, the same way he had touched Cerex's. But this time, it wasn't bonding. It was breaking. The fallen's armor tore open, and inside was nothing. No soul. No thought, just darkness. Raylan let go. The armor exploded, dust and light, and the storm ended. He fell to his knees. Breathing hard Dot around him, the temple began to glow softly. The ruins started to rise, repairing themselves. The bond had awakened something old and good. Raylan stood. The air felt calm now. He looked up toward the stars. He felt her. Serixa. Gone. Dot, just quiet. A voice in his chest whispered, "We did it, Raylan." He smiled. Dot, then turned away from the edge. He didn't know what the future would bring. More enemies would come. More darkness would rise. But now, he wasn't just a soldier. He was a guardian, chosen by the armor, and marked by a touch that changed the galaxy forever. Asterisk.